This is another episode of Standup Comedy, your host and MC, celebrating 40-plus years on the fringe of show business. Stories, interviews, and comedy sets from the famous and not so famous. Here's your host and MC, Scott Edwards.
Hi, and welcome to this week's show. Hey, we hope you've been enjoying the podcast and get an opportunity to share, tell your friends and family, and also like and rate it when you get a chance. Hey, we have something really fun for you this week. Back in April, I did a special 3 of the Best Headliners show, and it was a huge success, one of our top-rated podcasts. And so I'm going to do a sequel. So this one will be 3 of the Best Headliners, the sequel. However, this one's actually up a notch because what I've done is gone back deep into the archives and pulled up some terrific comedy. Later in the show, you're going to hear the very first set from 1980 of Jerry Sienfeld. Oh, man, this was going back a ways and some very, very funny material done in the original room. After that, I have a terrific set by Dana Carvey where he was the featured act, and that's from 1983. But right now, I want to kick things off with a pretty good lengthy set from somebody I think you'll have heard of. He's been the star of his own show, The Tonight Show. He's appeared in many shows since, and he's considered one of the funniest stand-up comics in America, and rightfully so. Back in 1985, I produced a concert at the Sacramento Community Center Theater. It was sold out. We had very special opening acts, but our headliner year after year, and we did this several times, was Jay Leno. That's right. He worked the club a few times and then was just so popular we would only bring him in for special concerts, usually on Thanksgiving Eve, which I found as a producer was a great night to produce a show because people were looking for something to do with family and friends. The next day they knew they'd be cooking and eating and watching football. But the night before Thanksgiving, the Wednesday night, is always kind of a dead night where you have all these relatives and guests in town but nothing to do. So I would produce a show, and it was a very popular concert that, as I mentioned, we did for several years. And I know you're going to enjoy this. Live on stage, in concert in Sacramento from 1985, ladies and gentlemen, Jay Leno.
I was coming up here as a plane. As I said, I got stuck at the airport. It was so packed today. Everybody flying. Bought a bunch of magazines. Pick up the new issue of Playboy. I'm too old for this, you know. This is a magazine written for guys 18 to 25. I think once most men hit 30, you see through the more obvious tricks Playboy uses to keep men interested in the magazine. Like on the front of Playboy now, they have this thing where there are pictures of 4 or 5 playmates, and they ask each playmate a question. And, of course, each woman answers in her own words, you know. Like last month's question was, what kind of men do you like? Now, here you have these incredibly attractive women. They could go out with anybody they want. And they always give some stupid Playboy answer like, well, I like dumb guys with no money, you know. So you know there's some poor 18-year-old locked in the latrine of the USS Kitty Hawk in the middle of the Mediterranean going, hey, I could go out with her. I'm going to write her a letter in crayon on a paper bag. Gee, I know she'll fly to Portland and meet my ship when it comes in, yeah. Because the December issue is the one that has all those fabulous Playboy bachelor gift items, you know, the ones made by Swank, you know, this, you know, the things no single 18-year-old guy can live without, like the 3-foot chrome shoehorn. You know, I used to believe this stuff. I was talking about this the other night. When I was 19 years old, I sent away $14.95 for the Playboy electric swizzle stick. You know, a little drink mixer, 2 D-sized batteries, Playboy emblem, put it in a woman's drink, free mixer drink. Very sophisticated, you know. I figured women would be real impressed with this. And I figured I'd walk into parties, women would go, huh, what's that, a Playboy swizzle stick? All right. Yes. How about the Penthouse letters? Do many of this gentleman, do you read the Penthouse letters, sir? You don't read them. I guess Bible class keeps you pretty busy most of the time. All right. How about the gentleman with the jacket and tie? Jacket and tie, obviously your first time at one of my shows. Sir, what, Now, do you read the Penthouse letters? Absolutely. Well, I certainly don't want to bet you, sir, but I... So you think the letters are real? They never printed your letter, sir. So did you actually send the letter in, sir? And I believe him, too, huh? How about the gentleman next to him there? Do you read the... Don't read them. He's lying, sir. I think that's fair to assume a man you've never met until a moment ago. Ask him a simple question, and you assume he's lying, sir. Your faith in humanity is unbelievable, sir, really. He's lying. He's lying. He's lying. Why would he lie, this guy? Well, actually, the penthouse letters are based on the assumption that any woman whose car breaks down on a deserted highway in the middle of the night is looking to get laid. And if you believe that, then, of course, the truck driver who stops to help her with the can of Ready Whip, this makes perfect sense. You know. See, my favorite penthouse letters are the ones written by women, because you know women didn't write them. You know, some dork-brained guy wrote this letter. You can tell by the way it's written a woman didn't write it. Your typical penthouse letter from an alleged woman is always like, Dear Penthouse, I'm an attractive woman, and then she gives her measurements, as most women do when writing a letter. I think that's fairly common. And should you have pouting breasts or supple buttocks, you want to put that in letter 2 there. So people know a little bit more about you, the individual. You know. See, my favorite thing, I'm always amazed at how willingly the women in the penthouse letters are to accept whatever sexual punishment destiny deems necessary. Again, your typical alleged letter is always like, Dear Penthouse, I'm an attractive woman who is an avid feminist and president of my local ERA chapter. Recently, my boss asked me to get him coffee. When I refused, he took me over his knee and gave me a sound spanking. Needless to say, I became his love slave. Needless to say. I think that's fairly common office practice, isn't it? I think most professional women have been through this kind of thing a number of times. You know what amazed me? Now, this is unbelievable. I read this in the paper. What do you think is the most widely read magazine in America? Take a guess. It is TV Guide. It used to be Reader's Digest. Now it's TV Guide. TV Guide is now considered reading in America. When did this happen? I think it happened the same day ketchup became a vegetable in this country. Are you coming to bed, dear? Oh, in a couple hours, honey. I just want to see who's on Crosswits for the rest of the week. I like the new ad campaign. You need TV Guide because TV's getting more complicated every day. Gee, you know there are people out there saying, gee, we'd like to watch The Dukes of Hazzard. We just don't have the educational background. If only there was a supplement we could follow along. I watch my favorite show every day, People's Court. Oh, this is like Attack of the Pinheads, this program, isn't it? He took my pen. I did not. He took my pen. You shut up. I think you should give the death sentence to some of these litigants. And I feel sorry for Judge Wapner. He must take so much grief from the other judges. I mean, let's face it. Hey, judges are a pretty pompous group. Whenever you get a bunch of judges in a room, they'll always try to impress one another with the important cases they've handled. Well, I remember the essence of the Miranda decision was essentially that the rights of the individual should triumph over the needs of the majority. Well, here comes Judge Wapner now. Hey, Wapner, how'd you make out with that case of the puppy-stained carpet? Game shows? You know, there was a time in this country you had to know something to be on a game show. Password, College Bowl, even Jeopardy you had to know facts. Now they have shows, well, I guess it just got canceled. Anything for Money, you ever seen this? It's a game show. What they do on this show is they try to find people with severe economic problems, and they offer them the choice between human dignity and small financial gain. This is the kind of program Gorbachev would like to show the Russian people as examples of what life in America must really be like, you know. Watch capitalist pig have to jump in bag of shit for $100. Huh? Still want to emigrate, Ishmael? No, Gorby, please, no. As I mentioned the other night, they brought back the newlywed game and the dating game. This is kind of an interesting thing. You see, there's a theory behind this. Although the literacy rate in this country is low, the networks are worried that it's not quite low enough. So by bringing back shows like The Dating Game, what they hope to do is mate genetically inferior people in the realization that they will reproduce mutant offspring, thus ensuring the next generation of contestants for these game shows. You know, it's a fascinating theory. He was talking about lifestyles of the rich and famous. This is like Karl Marx's worst nightmare come true, this program. It's like capitalism on acid, you know. Why do rich people even go on the show? All the show is a video gift catalog for criminals, you know. You know, they sit home with their VCRs. You play that tape back video, you want to see where Cher's secret wall safe is again, you know. I saw one the other night. I saw this on TV. I thought this was great. Burger King, win $1,000 a month for life. Have you seen this ad? They show the guy Rolls Royces, buy a chalet in England. Yeah, good luck, pal. Try and get a hotel room for $1,000 a month. Oh, this is great. It's great. Just no conception. I'm amazed it shows it at number one. The A-Team, this is still like a top show. You like this program? Now, see, you guys don't like it for the same reason I don't like it. Boy, you missed the first 2 or 3 minutes. It's so hard to follow, huh? Gee, that complicated story and the surprise ending where the car goes in the water. Who would have guessed that was going to happen again this week? What's the premise of the A-Team? You have these Vietnam veterans wrongly accused of a crime hiding out from the police. All right, let's analyze the characters. You got Mr. T, the black guy, muscles, chains, big strength on his head. George Apard, the white guy, silver hair, big cigar, 2 male models, a woman in a bikini. They're in a black van with a red stripe, a wing on the top, mag wheels. Mr. T's driving, and the cops are going, "We can't find him." I don't know where the hell they could be, boy. They are just... See what USA Today said about the A-Team? Hey, you talk about people getting dumber. You ever read this, USA Today? This is like America's biggest school newspaper or something. And then I always feel like they should have a think and do page on the back of this for people. They said the A-Team was the most violent show on TV, which is not really fair. Because if you have kids, you know the most violent thing on TV is what? Cartoons! Sure, if you're a 5-year-old kid and you watch cartoons all day, and I think this is a reasonable analogy. Kids think if you take a stick of dynamite, put it under a dog's ass and set it off, the dog's eyeballs will go boo. Sure, kids think you hit a dog with an axe, you got 2 dogs.
That was Jay Leno live on stage. Always a great treat to have him work for me. He was a great guy, introduced us to a lot of people that we got a chance to use on stage. And to this day, one of the funniest and cleanest comics to have huge success from his own shows to The Tonight Show. And he continues to appear regularly on TV. So right now, coming up next is a very funny comic. I mentioned it in the beginning of the show, Dana Carvey. Now, I'm giving you a little bit of a heads up. This was from 1983, where he was appearing in my club as a featured act. So that's the middle act, not a lot of money. He was just coming out of San Francisco, and you could tell he's a little new and a little raw. But this is a really funny set because he kind of goes off script, and he plays with the audience a lot and is interacting and improving. On top of that, you'll notice he mentions smoking or having to deal with smoke. And yes, back in 1983, smoking was still allowed in nightclubs. So for you people that are under 30, this will be something a little unique to hear. Anyway, a very funny set, lots of improv, great comedy. I know you'll enjoy him. One of the best in the business, Dana Carvey.
This guy's a very talented young man. And he's a regular here at Laughs Unlimited. Been doing a lot of television. I mentioned before he's had his own series. He's had a few different series, TV series, and he's going to be coming out in a movie soon called Spinal Tap. That'll be coming out real soon. Honest to God, it's called Spinal Tap. It's about a British rock punk band, and the name of the band is Spinal Tap. I don't know about what it is all about, but he's in it, and that's coming out this summer. So watch for that. Let's have a nice big round of applause. Our featured act tonight, a very funny man, Dana Carvey. Right here, Dana Carvey. Go! Go!
Thank you, Scott. I'm not as tall as you, and try to rub it in, guy. Okay, but I am a man. Thank you. Still here, Scott? Aren't we a bit feisty tonight? It's really neat. I love to start the show that way with a cheap theatrical gag. Gee, he's got a hook. Sorry about that. Well, good evening. Welcome to the show. And I'm someone having a bronchial spasm over there? What's going on? I had a fun ball in there all night waiting to come out. Gee, the young kid's on. Well, I'm originally from San Francisco. I'm not gay. I'm just happy. Thank you very much. 27 years of age, but I read at a 29-year-old level. I know the way I'm dressed tonight, I look like I should be in the window at Sears right now. It's like, all boys wear half off. Thank you. Sort of, have we got some communication going yet? Are you happy with your lives, or what's going on? How many people are waiting for the band to start? Well, is it spring yet? Yeah. Isn't there supposed to be a band tonight? Ugh. Can I have a little more smoke in my face? What is going on here? My God. What are you, walking tuberculosis right in front here. What, you're smoking a pipe in a nightclub? Those things make odors and foul things and stuff. My dad used to smoke a pipe. Can I see that for a second? We're going, uh-oh. It's hot ashes in somebody's eyes any second. What am I going to do? Comedy Club of Hell. Hi, I'm Harry Martin. Yeah, they wouldn't let us out of there, man. We were sweating like pigs. We had to pee like donkeys. They wouldn't let us go. Shit. And this comic takes this pipe and just spreads hot ash all. I heard of Mount St. Helens. This is worse, man. This was worse. Whoa. That's great. You always feel sort of British when I have a pipe, don't you? That's right. You're British. Well, you're talking like a British person, Paul. Don't try to fool us. He came in tonight. Hello, I'm from England. Can I get in free, please? How do we know you're from England? Well, I've got a pipe, don't I? Jesus. You've got me bloody pipe. I should be able to get in there. Do you ever, like, pretend there's a little man in there and just say, hi? You ever do that, do you? If you did, you'd be pretty stupid. Sometimes I pretend a mom's in there. This is great. This is a very neat thing. You always make a point with this. What do you think, Mike? What? I kind of got tied up there. Yeah. Do you make gestures with this? With the board of the directors? Where do you work? You're a hairdresser? Gee, you got some dandruff in that scalp there. Oh, sorry, that was my pipe there. I apologize. You're a hairdresser and you smoke a pipe? My God, Lordy, have mercy on me. Does this come apart? What do you mean, sorta? Does it or doesn't it? Sorta. Has my hair been butchered? Sorta. Sorta. Now, you're with a lovely young woman. You're obviously heterosexual and you're a hairdresser. How do you explain this? I just love those curls. Like, oh, love yeah. Let's just poke and trim your little head here. How many people have every time they go to a hairdresser, he cuts the hair too short, butchers you. You go just a half inch off. You come out there looking like a billiard ball. Your girlfriend says, yeah, your head in the side pocket, buddy. You people do that, and I'm pissed. Hey. Hello, I'm a British hairdresser. I fuck up people's heads. I'm a British hairdresser. This is great. It's great. Looks like maybe a creature Jacques Cousteau would find, doesn't it? Hello, my name is Jacques Cousteau. Tonight we are going to look at the mating habits of the flying pipefish. The pipefish is shaped like a pipe. That's why we call it the pipefish. The pipefish moves in the sea. The female pipefish moves in after her mate, surrounding her mate. The male pipefish waits, shaking his long stem-like tail. That's right. It's a Sowato Rolly type dick. Anyway. Hello. The pipefish. What the hell happened to this show? The pipefish is moving there. Oh, I'm doing English and French. I don't know. Swedish people making love. Anyway.
Oh, man, I can't tell you how I have such fond memories of working with Dana over the years. If you've been listening to my shows, you've heard several of the stories of our great relationship and friendship, and it's just wonderful to be able to showcase him from 1983 when he was just a featured act, and now he's a world-famous comic, movie star, television, you name it. I know you enjoyed that. All right, coming up now is a special set. We have the very first appearance of Jerry Sienfeld in the original room. That was the basement of the Delta Queen restaurant in Old Sacramento from 1980. And Jerry Sienfeld had just come out from the East Coast. Now, let me share a quick story. I was lucky enough to meet Jerry through a mutual friend, George Wallace, who was our first ever headliner and the godfather of stand-up comedy out of Las Vegas. Jerry had just come out from New York and was doing small guest appearances on TV shows like Benson, and he was always great to work with, easy to work with, and a very, very funny guy. What was really nice in those early days, before he was a star, we could hang out with him. We went to several dinners after show, late breakfasts, and we always had a great conversation. And as I mentioned, he was a real good guy and easy to communicate with. What was really impressive about Jerry Sienfeld was that after working for me for a few years, he was signed up to do his first season of the Jerry Sienfeld Chronicles, later transferred into just the Sienfeld Show, which you all know has made him a huge success and famous in show business. But before he was started the show, he had a gig arranged with me on the calendar, and he had to cancel that gig so that he could start taping the Jerry Sienfeld Chronicles. What was extraordinary was that, as most acts that get that big and cancel because of a TV show, trust me, you never hear from them again. Not because of prima donnas, just that they're busy, it's expensive, and it doesn't work out. But not Jerry. Jerry was the only guy that called me up and said, hey, I had to cancel. I'd like to come back and make it up to you. And he came in and worked a 3-day weekend and charged me the same money I was going to pay him before he did the whole first season of the Jerry Sienfeld Chronicles. Now, let's be honest, the first season of the Jerry Sienfeld Chronicles was not that successful, but still, for a guy that had had a whole season as a star of his own sitcom, coming back and working My Small Club was a huge favor to Laughs Unlimited and really helped put us on the map. And we'll always remember that fondly as he went out of his way to make good on his commitment on the gig. Here comes the very first set Jerry Sienfeld ever did on my stage. This is in early 1980 in the original room underneath the Delta Queen restaurant. I know you're going to enjoy it. Listen in the background. You'll hear the very unique and distinctive laugh of Yakov Smirnoff, who was the opening act that week for Jerry Sienfeld, and I'm sure you know who Yakov Smirnoff is. So, ladies and gentlemen, some terrific comedy for you from Jerry Sienfeld.
Tonight, we have something very special for you. Our headliner this evening is a very talented young man. He started off in New York. He was with, not Catcher in the Rye, it's Catch a Rising Star Improv Group in New York. And he got his start there. He was doing very well. He moved out to Hollywood, played all the major comedy stores out there. You've seen him on lots of talk shows, and he just recently signed the contract. You will see him this fall on ABC's Benson series. Let's have a big round of applause for Jerry Sienfeld.
Hi, how you doing? Well, good. We heard enough from you already. Okay. Well, this is great. Welcome to Sacramento's only comedy showroom. Is that what you call it, the showroom, Scott? Yeah. Sounds like you come and you pick out a comedian. Yeah, I'll take that one there. It's like a car showroom. They have them on display and you can buy them. We're not on display. Hey, how are you? This is fun. I love comedy. How many of you have heard jokes before? Have some idea what's happening? Yeah. You just had a little too much to drink. You'll be okay. So, security, table 3, please. You want to take care of that? Yeah. Welcome to what people have been calling it Old Sack. Old Sack. It's kind of a... I think we can come up with a better name, don't you think? Old Sack. Sounds like kind of an old bag. Old Sack. You're writing down jokes. That's good. So I'm new out here, so I'm trying to catch on. I'm trying to get hip. I'm not that hip. They took me on one of these water slide rides last week down in Los Angeles. That's where I'm living. And have you ever been on one of these things where you climb up to the top and it's like a water slide, it's a big spiral, and you slide down and the water is kind of rushing around? It's kind of like being flushed down a giant toilet, is what it felt like. I mean, I walked out, the guy said, "How'd you like the ride?" I said, "I felt like a piece of shit." We're doing some remodeling over here in the back. Pulling up some of those rusty nails. We'll have that finished before. Yeah, so I grew up in Massapequa, Long Island. Thank you very much. It's a nice place to live. And it's nice. I feel much better being an adult. You can eat what you want. When you're a kid, you have to eat what your parents give you. My mother used to disguise food on me. Never works. "Look, Mom, I know it's liver. I don't know how you got it to look like Cocoa Puffs. You did some good work there, but you didn't get past me." I used to eat a lot of cold cereal. Remember those weird recipes they always have on the side of the box, cold cereal? Anybody ever get their mother to make cornflakes Cantonese? What was that stuff? Strange ideas they had there. Yeah. So anyway, what are you smoking there? Benson and Hedges. Those are plain cigarettes, they're not the lights? Some of them are light, some of them are plain. Well, it's a blend there, huh? You don't get those two. I like these new light cigarettes, the new trend towards light cigarettes, because the thinking is, advertising-wise, it's light. Take it easy. Smoke a pack, smoke a carton, smoke 10,000, it's light. They never give a cigarette a name like Deadweights. You know, that stops you cold. Do you know which cigarette is the lowest tar cigarette? Which brand? Carlton. Carlton is the lowest. I checked into Carlton. Less tar than breathing regular air? That's really low. If you don't smoke them, you risk lung disease. Filters of solid wood. How about Camels? Any men smoking Camels? You got to be pretty tough to smoke a Camel. Camels are very high tar, roughly the equivalent of smoking an actual camel. You've got to knock them down, roll them up in the papers. It's very hard. How about Raleighs? People always remember Raleighs because they had valuable Raleigh coupons. With these valuable coupons, they were worthless. Really. You could lose a lung trying to get a badminton set. Even if you get it, you can't play. Your lungs are shot. Point. Let's take a break. We'll smoke a few more packs. We'll get a new birdie. Come on. I like playing games. It's kind of funny walking underneath this thing. So what games are popular here in Old Sack? Bowling? Bowling popular? I would think so, huh? No? You don't bowl? I love to bowl. Any bowlers? Yeah, sure. You got your own shoes? Oh, that's a status number there. You got your own shoes. I hate when you have to pick the ball out of that rack. You know that giant rack they have to find the ball? It's very hard to find one that fits, isn't it? There's some very strange hole patterns in some of these balls. I don't think I want to meet the people that can use some of these balls. You ever see like 8 holes in them? 3 in a row sometimes? Weird things. Sometimes there's those giant holes. They're so big, those holes, I can't even try it out. I bring it back to my seat, use it to hold the Cokes. They're big. Or I put it on my head, I run down the lane by myself. I always wanted to come back on that little return lane and pop out the top. How did I do? Strike? Come out of that little plastic thing. Yeah, bowling. What other games?
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Jerry Sienfeld live on stage at Laughs Unlimited from 1980. And I got to tell you, we were so lucky and blessed to be able to work with people like Sienfeld, Jay Leno, and Dana Carvey back in those early days. Really helped put us on the map, and it was just such a joy to work with all of them. I know you enjoyed this week's show. 3 of the best headliners, royalty style. And we thank you all for listening. Hey, before we go, I just wanted to put it out there that if you had any particular acts you wanted to see, any questions for the headliners, or any comments on this podcast, be sure to email me. You can reach me through the website, www.standupyourhostandmc.com. So we'll look forward to hearing from you. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Stand-Up Comedy, Your Host and MC. For information on the show, merchandise, and our sponsors, or to send comments to Scott, visit our website at www.standupyourhostandmc.com. Look for more episodes soon and enjoy the world of stand-up comedy. Visit a comedy showroom near you.